step that back foot back, and then angle like this and pop it a little bit, and bam, you don't even have to sign up for my program.
Right.
And so my jerk foot that goes back actually had a stress fracture in like the ball of the big toe. But it was like when I went and got it checked out, like it was already smooth. And so I kind of ignored it until I was like, it was already healing. So I kind of like switched up my stance to where I was resting. So like on top of rolling my ankle and then kind of like my foot was bothering me. So I was like, took like a backseat to the running. And so when Hunter like contacted me like 3 weeks before Spartan Games, he's like, have you been running? I was like, maybe. I was like, at that point, I literally had been running like a mile, like a week, maybe 2. And so I was just like, yeah. But I was like hoping they were inviting me because like of the strength. I was like, hook me up with something like a barbell or anything. So whenever they were sending the emails and it was all like just endurance, I was like, they do know that I'm a weightlifter.
Yeah.
Like, like you don't, it's not that entertaining to watch a weightlifter do cardio very badly. I mean, it's great falling down the mountains in Vermont, but these girls would like sidestep down the mountains, and I'm like, my knees felt like they were going to explode because that downward motion just was like pounding. It was hilarious. Taylor, the marathon, like the Olympic marathoner, she was so funny. She passed me going downhill and she's like, these downhills, as she's like, have you ever seen those mountain goats that like prance up the hill? Yes. Like just like it's nothing, or down the mountain on the side of the cliffs. She's like prancing down the mountain as I'm like stepping, walking backwards, like trying not to trip, and she's like bounding down. She's like, these mountains really hurt my knees. Bye. And I was like, yeah, okay, me too.
Did that make you want to like tune your training a little bit and be like, look, if I got this base, maybe if I work at this a little bit, I can actually beat a few more people?
That's how I felt with the High Rocks when I did it in February of last year. I was just like, ooh, like I literally did 0 training and I was top 10 in like my overall group people. I don't know about the pro people, but I was like at least not last. And I was like, and I'm competitive, that I'm just like, ooh, all I have to do is a little bit of cardio here and keep my strength there, and then I'll be good. So I've definitely kind of changed gears, not so much because I want to be competitive. I just love High Rocks in the aspect of there's no gymnastics, because I was not so good at those, and I love my shoulders. And like when I did CrossFit, my shoulders and chest were like so tight that, I mean, I would like to grow old with some shoulders mobility, and I would like to keep that. So the fact that there's no like really upper body, like fatiguing high rep things that could hurt me, then I'm down for that. So I'm kind of just like, let's do some competitions, whatever that looks like. And I'll even do a CrossFit competition, but I think I'm only going to do them in like a team form, because I love team stuff. I think it's fun and it takes the pressure off you. You see people on Instagram, but then you see them in real life competing, and then you be like, talk to them. And so that's one of the things that I love about High Rocks is, and that there's competitions, is people like reach out and be like, are you going to be in Dallas? Or are you going to be in Austin? I'm like, yes, please come and say hi. I love to talk to people, and I will talk to anybody. So like, that's one of the things I love, is like just talking to people that that see me on Instagram, and then I talk to them on Instagram, and then just having that connection is just like, heck yeah, meet new people, make new friends.
Yeah. And you learn so much, like through chatting and having experiences with other people. So that's awesome.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure everybody made fun of me whenever the first episode of the Spartan Games came out, because I was like, I like fitness and I like meeting people. So like this was perfect.
Qualified.
They're like, what are you at a beauty pageant? And world peace. I easily put on like 15 pounds when I stopped CrossFit.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So when I was at the
It's all
Spartan
muscle.
Games,
That's
I was
Right.
easily 180, like just those, and everybody was like yay high and like this big, and I'm just like, hey ladies, where's the protein and the weight?
But in your Cape Cod sweater.
Right.
Exactly. gotta represent.
But that's the thing. Like, I feel like people worry too much about that kind of stuff, like weight and things like that. And like, obviously it depends on what you're doing. You know, if you're running a lot, being lighter is nice. If you're lifting a lot, being heavier is probably nice. And so it's all relative. So, I mean, I think people put a little too much focus on like weight and just need to look at performance. Like if you weigh a lot, but you're performing well, who cares? You know, if you're not putting on weight and you're performing well, who cares? You know what I mean? So
I mean, that's what I try to like preach on my Instagram page. It's like, really, it does not matter what the scale says or what your weight is, as long as you feel good and you're performing in whatever you're doing well into what you want to perform. Like the scale does not determine how good of an athlete you are. And so unless you're in a sport where like the weight kind of matters, like still like just feel good and be strong. I like being strong because it's going to be cool. So that was a different, like, again, weightlifting is such a mental thing. Is like, you have to be so much more in tune with your eating when you're not doing the cardio side of it. It's like, I can't just go outside and run like 3 miles. Okay, 3 miles is a lot right now. Okay, don't hate. But like just run 3 miles and like drop a few pounds, and that's super easy. Whereas like you have to like actually diet, and I've never really had to. And so that was extremely hard, especially if your body's like, no, we're not going to lose weight no matter how hard you try. So it was just really different.
Yeah.
it's about 83 a month. So like 20-ish, 21 a week, roughly consistently, which I've never done. So
I was like, my goal is like 10 miles.
And that was always me too, but that led me to stop running in the winter. So I'm like, I gotta find like some kind of motivation. I think I've heard you talk about that before. Maybe it was even today on Instagram, like setting goals for yourself. And I think that's like so true. Like if you have something to try for or motivate yourself anyway, even if it's like a small goal, you know, to keep you going, like,
oh yeah,
pick something.
If you like, that is one of the biggest things that has always kept me motivated and kept me training, is because I've always had these goals. And so like, if you don't have a goal, it will be difficult to stay motivated. But like, find a goal no matter what it is, and try to just like be like, this is my goal, I'm going to reach this. Even if it's a 5K, like it's something. Even if it's like not even like a sanctioned or an actual event, like just get somebody to hold you accountable. And that is another way, because I'm pretty sure like that's one of a reoccurring question, is like, how do you stay motivated? And one of the day that question came up, I was like so unmotivated. And I have these weightlifting goals, and I just was like, man, I'm so unmotivated. But I had my sister who was like, hey, I'm going to come work out with me earlier that day. She was meeting me, and I was like, that is another way you can be accountable and motivated, to have a workout buddy that is going to be at the gym being like, yo, bro, like, hello, you said you're going to be here, even though you don't want to be, like I'm here to work out. So you need to get your butt there. So like, that's another thing that I would say is has helped me stay accountable is to have workout buddies and just those people that will like keep you accountable even when you don't want to do something.
It's so
And let me tell you, weightlifting is such an isolated like workout thing if you don't have a good barbell club. And especially since 90% of my training is like just me and I send my videos, I have the barbell club to lift with, but a lot of times my schedule doesn't allow it. So it's like finding those people to just be around makes the biggest difference on top of goals.
Right.
Yeah.
Get those goals, people.
Yeah, like your goals are for yourself, but on the days, like you said, that like everybody has their bad days, their days that they're not motivated, but having that other person or people to like hold you accountable, you're like,
it's for real. And then you just find some good pre-workout or coffee.
Yeah, right.
Yes. Yes.
Always key.
Just to be honest.
Right.
I love coaching. I love programming. I love helping people feel strong, be strong, and like be confident in just doing strength training and barbell movements and just something that is kind of like, I mean, obviously, but booty is a huge like popular thing right now. But I just was like, it's easy because it's the stuff that I do. So you're training like I'm training. So everything that I program is like I'm doing on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And even if you can't do it on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like you just make it work to your schedule. But it's just a all around, like I think a developed program for like core, there's arms, it's cardio based, it's like strengthening the small ligaments to the big muscles that everybody kind of like sometimes forgets. And so I love my program.
I mean, that stuff's important for everything because running, lifting, whatever you're doing, core is one of the biggest things people talk about, and glutes. I mean, I talked about it a couple of weeks ago. I was having some IT band issues and I was doing some research and it was like glute strength.
Yep.
I'm like, yeah, I kind of ignored that a little.
That's why we both looked at each other like,
oh.
Yeah. And so the cool thing about like I think the cool thing about my program is I work at a sports performance gym. So I incorporate a lot of corrective exercises like for your knees and your ankles and like rotational for your shoulders and all these like core stabilizers and not just like trying to like do as many reps as possible. And you're just going to annihilate like high reps, just burned out. But I want to do like corrective activation movements to go into like strength and then finish with like a high intense workout. So I think it's a well-rounded program just because I have come from the triathlon community and I have developed my glutes and my core even more than before. And so I have worked real hard for my booty.
Can I say I love how you refer to it as a peach on the website?
Your microphone cut out.
Oh, I love how you refer to it as a peach on the website. That's my favorite part.
She said, I love her booty. And you were like, can I just say that I love? And I was like, are you just going to tell her that you love her booty?
Oh, I thought my booty.
I was like, I mean, let's do this.
I will teach you how to pose too. Cause like I was making fun with some of my guy friends. They're like, is this how you pose? I was like, all you have to do is get some good lighting, step that back foot back and then angle like this and pop it a little bit and bam, you don't even have to sign up for my program. You look like you have a butt already.
It's all about the pop.
If I do get invited back, which I would love to do it again because I think I'm a little bit better athlete now, but not on the Spartan things. I still can't hold myself. I'm still heavy. I'm a dense person, let me tell you. So like doing bars, I'm like, I can do it very slowly and maybe once. Whereas the girls were like just flying across. I was like, I can do a rope climb. I remember how to do a rope climb. These ropes were so slippery. I was like, oh my.
They always are.
I know.
I was like, this is not the same. And then it was so frustrating because I'm such a competitor. So the first time on the Spartan Cross, like they're like, we even register that if you just touch it and go, like you have like a minute penalty. And so when I missed one of the rope climbs, I was just like standing there like, I can do this. And whereas I should have just skipped it. I was like, I can do this. And I did it. But I was like, no.
Blew yourself out for the rest of the race.
Like, I don't quit. I kicked in. I was like, maybe I should have just touched it instead of trying to prove something.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes you let I've done that too. I think it was a Savage race. I don't know if you've heard of those. They have something called like a lumberjack lane. I think it's just carrying like a piece of wood. And like I saw people carrying 2. So I'm like, oh, we got to carry 2. And the guy at the thing was like, oh, you just got to pick one up. And I'm like, no, I see people carrying 2. I'm going to carry 2. And it was a competitive race. And I'm like, after I was done, I was like, that was the stupidest thing I could have done. I'm like, do the minimum.
Work smarter, not harder.
Right. Right. Exactly.